Something that I enjoy doing is putting together a puzzle. Whether it's big or small, there's a lot that could go into it. Now picture this. Have you ever imagined all the individual pieces representing different events of your life? Metaphorically speaking. For instance, the first piece, representing the day of your birth. Another may be your first day of school, the day your grandmother passed away. Another may be your high school graduation, the day your best friend was paralyzed, your wedding day. All these pieces representing exciting but also tragic events. Have you ever tried completing a 5,000 piece puzzle without ever looking at the picture on the box? It'd be confusing because we don't see the full picture. And like life, when tragedy hits, we don't see or understand the full story pieces that God is putting together, so we question, does God exist? I remember the day after the South Carolina church shooting, I was at work and we were watching the news, and one of the guys there was absolutely disgusted by the situation, asking how could God allow this to happen in his own church? Guys, that church, like many others, has been around for a long time, and I'm sure they've had their unfortunate share of events in the past. But do you think after all the years of peace that those churches experienced, that he or anyone outside the church ever pointed to God being the cause? Why do so many people do this? When life seems to be going great, we consider it our lucky day. But when the opposite occurs, we need a scapegoat, and unfortunately, even if we don't believe in God, somehow we still manage to put the blame on him. And people wonder why they see him the way that they do. My question to you is, do you believe that good could come out of a terrible situation? Can God turn a test into a testimony, a mess into a message? I was asked by one of my students, why didn't God just make this world perfect with no pain and suffering? And the answer is, he did. And I know many people are upset because of one man's disobedience. Sin entered the world and now we have to pay for it. But I've never heard anyone complain because of one man's obedience, sin was defeated on the cross, and now we don't have to pay for it. Whether you're a believer or far from it, it doesn't matter. We all face trials. If you question whether or not he cares, he could have stayed on his throne, but yet he chose to come down and experience what we go through. I'll tell you right now, I have it way better than he ever did. Do you see the sick children, the starving people? Of course you do. Our minds are so focused on it, we tend to look right past the blessing. The people who were fed, the children who were healed. That's what Christ called us to do. That's why we do it. Where was Christ? He was there the whole time. And he doesn't stop there. I enjoy documentaries and movies with happy endings. I just watched a great one the other night, the Gabby Douglas story. And like many other leading characters, life gets tough. But she kept the faith, even when the puzzle pieces didn't make sense. I don't know your life or the struggles you're currently going through, but if you will allow me to share with you my favorite verse, Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. It lets me know that there's a reason why I'm going through this season. I'll come out stronger on the other side, and now I can better relate to help someone who's going through what I once went through. Sometimes you'll never know how the story of your faith could help someone going through a difficult time.
The one thing, just the other day though, I saw something, even in the midst of all this, people's faith is so strong here, and faith in God and faith in each other, and faith that, better days are ahead. I saw this woman, she sort of reminded me a little bit of you. She was dancing on the street corner there.
Athletes go through tests and hard workouts knowing that, yeah, it's going to be painful, but it will be worth it. The same could be said for us as believers. You learn to truly appreciate the good times when you've gone through a rough stretch. We turn away from God when a loved one dies, even though we know that death is inevitable for us all. I don't blame the gun when someone gets hurt, but the person holding the gun. I don't blame the lawmaker for the people who choose to disregard his word. I'll admit there are days where I wish he would just come back already, but I know he's holding off judgment. I'm sorry if I didn't bring closure to your situation. I don't have all the answers. If you didn't get anything out of what I've just said, I hope you at least remember this. Christ told us he'll be victorious in the end. He didn't leave it as a mystery. So in the meantime, with all that you see around you, do you have faith to trust him?